guys? It's Phil the MMA Dude back with the Split Decision Podcast, episode number 58. Here with my always brilliant co-host, the Fight Geek. Fight Geek, how you doing today, man? You stoked?
Stoked, man. Happy belated birthday. Happy to be back talking fights.
Thank you. I am an old man. I kept it on the DL on Twitter, but I still appreciate the messages. Somehow someone figured it out, and I still got messages, which I really appreciated. But I'm old. All right. Relax. Just relax, buddy. Okay, guys, look. Here's what's on tap today. UFC Norfolk Recap. So we're going to start off with that. Then we're moving on to the UFC 248 preview and picks. Then we're jumping to outside the UFC. We're going to talk a little bit Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3. After that, my favorite section, listener questions and more. And this is a special listener questions. And Fight Geek, do you want to tell them why it's so special?
It's incredibly special because we're now taking audio questions for other listeners.
Oh, yeah. Audio question. All right, we'll work on that. But
I've been told this is big news, so we appreciate you guys. Those of you who sent in the audio questions. Looking forward to answering those.
Absolutely. Okay, so Fight Geek, let me start off the show with this question for you. Obviously, UFC Norfolk's main event, Joseph Benavidez versus Davison Figueiredo for the flyweight belt. As you know, Figueiredo missed weight, so he was not eligible to win. And then what happened? Total chaos. He knocks out Benavidez in the second round. So there is no champion. The title is vacant. And I want to ask you, what would you do if you were Dana White, and it's up to you? How do you move forward? Do you shut the division down? Do you do a rematch? Do you try to get Cejudo back into play? And it's worth noting, before you answer, the last thing I will say is that I ran a poll. I got over 2,000 votes, and just short of 40% said shut it down. The division doesn't matter, which I do think is very interesting.
What kind of MMA fans want to shut down that division? I mean, I still personally get quite a bit of enjoyment out of those fights. Obviously, that fight last weekend I thought was a very good fight up until the ending. Obviously, tough loss for Joe. I think a couple of the judges gave him the first round. I gave him the first round. Thought he was actually looking fairly comfortable in there. Obviously, Figueiredo is larger, had power, but I thought Joe was doing well. With all that being said, I would look to do that Joe versus Figueiredo rematch if Henry Cejudo truly has no interest in coming back down. Because now I do think that Figueiredo versus Cejudo is actually a pretty interesting matchup. I don't know about you, but I think that there's plenty of reason to keep that division, especially if you can get Cejudo to commit to coming back down, kind of unifying it, lining it back up, either handing off that belt to Figueiredo to make him the rightful champion, or actually, defending that belt that he, even though technically that's a vacant belt, it still feels like Cejudo's belt, in my opinion. I don't know about to you. Yeah. So I would definitely say if Cejudo's set on, the bantamweights, then I would run it back with Joe. I don't think there's any reason to get rid of the division. You got Moreno versus Formiga coming up.
But 40%, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. 40% of MMA diehard fans don't care about the division, and that's got to mean something. And it's not as simple as, they're casuals, because that's not true.
You're asking me what I would do.
All right, no, I understand.
So yeah, I don't agree with those 40% of people that we should get rid of the flyweights whatsoever. I don't think, I think it still kind of sucks that Demetrius Johnson's not on the UFC roster. I think he would make things very interesting right now. A challenger like Figueiredo for DJ is an interesting fight to me. I don't know who wouldn't want to see a fight like that.
Okay, so I'm going to say something very controversial, and I'm prepared for a lot of blowback here. But let me defend that 40% for 1 second, okay? Now, personally, do I think the division should be shut down? No, I do not. But I would be a liar if I didn't say that the flyweight division felt extremely stale with DJ as champ, simply because he was so good. And
that's fine.
It's been great ever since he left. Him leaving was the best thing that could have happened to the division. I'm sorry, DJ fans. You have to forgive me.
I don't think it's the best thing that ever happened to the division.
It made it more interesting, whether you admit it or not.
It may have made it more interesting, but I think personally having a name like DJ floating around for matchups, especially if he would have not been the champion, obviously he deserved an immediate rematch, but it would have been fun to see DJ have to fight another person in a 3-round fight, given the situation we hadn't seen in a long time.
Yes, I agree. I should clarify, I meant DJ as champ was making it very stale.
Exactly, but I don't think he had the kind of challengers that are available right now. Do I think DJ would still be the champion? Probably, but I think a Cejudo trilogy with DJ would be amazing. I think Figueiredo DJ is a very interesting fight. So I think he would have, I know he had Horiguchi and guys like that who are great fighters who he defended against in the UFC, but I think this new crop brings something to the table. So, yeah, it kind of blows my mind that people would want to get rid of that division. Fighters like, Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo, those are very exciting fighters that I look forward to seeing.
All right, I feel like this is politics, and I'm like the moderate right now, guys. I mean, Fight Geek is clearly like being a hipster with the flyweight thing right now. Yeah, you're being a little hipster, but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I don't understand that, because wouldn't a hipster be good with shaking it up and cutting divisions up? I'm being a traditionalist. The division's been there since 2012. There's no reason to get rid of it. That's hard. UFC.
Yeah, as you said, it's been around since 2012. It's not that's a brand spanking new division that was created in 2012. It's not like it goes back to 2001.
So you really want to get rid of the
I don't. I was simply
human, Phil.
I was defending the 40%. I thought it was
take back my happy birthday now.
Wow, that's messed up, bro. Okay. All right. So you would have you would run it back, Joey B versus
Well,
Davison.
Of course, and I think that the case has been made. First of all, Figueiredo missed weight. Second of all, that fight was close until the ending, so there's plenty of narrative.
Well, not.
Well, what do you mean? 2 judges gave Joseph Benavidez the first round, and he got stopped in the second. You can't say it's not a close fight. It was a close fight by definition until the end.
Even I gave Joey B the first round.
Exactly, because he won the first round.
I know. Go ahead.
There was a couple times there where I thought maybe he was throwing winging punches, which is his style, but I thought there was a chance he would be able to wear Figueiredo out, drag him into the late rounds, especially with, I think I heard some rumors that Figueiredo cut up to 40 pounds. I don't know if that's realistic or what.
No way. You die.
But yeah, I would imagine so. But I know he cut quite a bit, was quite a bit bigger, so he had the power advantage because of that, but I thought that he would start to fade quickly.
He looked like, can I be honest? He looked like a lightweight compared to Joey B. Next to each other.
Yeah, he did. And he has a big, wide back. You can see, I think Benavidez, and we don't have to get too much in the weeds on this, but I didn't go back and check out the headbutt all that much. I know there's some controversy whether or not that staggered him, because Joseph walked right into that straight hand. He circled right into it with his hands basically down, staring at it coming down the pipe. So he had to have been dazed before that, because he was defending himself much better before that point.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. So for whatever reason, I really liked this fight. I just thought it was great. Again, it was a complicated fight because I gave Joey B the first round barely, but it was very clear that Figueiredo was getting hit and having zero respect for those punches. Every time he hit Joey B looked rocked. And so, what I'm saying is, I just don't know how it's going to go differently in a rematch. And just really quickly to answer your question about the headbutt, that was not Figueiredo's fault at all. Joey B, sort of ran into him with his head leading, almost like a bull.
Right. Yeah. No, I was just saying that he must have been dazed from it. I don't know whose fault it was, because it was just strange how he basically just circled right to that straight right hand, which was like a missile.
Yeah.
Huge right hand. So, I don't know. I definitely think Cejudo Figueiredo is a great fight. Let's say Aldo beats Cejudo. Why wouldn't Cejudo go down and try to, win his belt, the vacant belt again from, in a fight versus Figueiredo? I know Figueiredo missed weight. That makes it a little difficult to kind of, bank on. But, I think that action is very intriguing at this point. So definitely keep the flyweights, and we can move on.
Okay, definitely. And then what I would say is, yeah, my first choice would be to do Figueiredo versus Cejudo. And then second choice, the Joey B rematch. I just feel bad for Joey B because I will say this, guys, I do not see a path to victory for him in a rematch. Even with Figueiredo making weight, don't think it'll make a difference.
No, I agree with you there for sure. But it's based on merit. You could make a case that Joseph deserves it, or doesn't deserve, but could be eligible for a rematch. It's not like he lost every second of that fight. And I do think we're not quite to this stage yet, but I think Joseph is obviously gonna be one of those guys who takes like the Cowboy Cerrone route, where he's got lots of great numbers, lots of great records, but just fell short when they got to the very top, which was hard to see. But Benavidez is still great guy, great fighter.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on. There's actually a ton to discuss in this card. The card started off a little slow with most of the prelims, but then it got great with the main card.
There was some controversy. We'll get to the Kutalaba fight. That was pretty wild. But let's just go into the co-main.
Let's start with Felicia Spencer defeating Zara Fairn, I believe it's how it's pronounced, 3 minutes and 37 seconds into round number 1. I am so high on Spencer. I've got to be honest. I think that the fact that there is a very serious argument that many people are trying to make that Megan, dumbest pronunciation ever. Megan Anderson deserves the title shot with Nunes over Spencer. A lot of people are arguing that. And that just blows my mind, guys.
It's just what are you talking about? Highlight reel finish. I mean, that's something they can market and package. But the fact that Felicia Spencer has beaten Megan Anderson with that the last calendar year should eliminate her.
Well, she didn't just hold on. She didn't just beat her. She humiliated her in front of the world in 90 seconds. I mean, she couldn't have dominated Anderson anymore. She couldn't have beaten her anymore.
I get what you're saying, but you have to understand this also, though. Felicia Spencer is incredibly hittable. She has a good...
Why? Because she lost to Cyborg? That's her only loss.
No, well, she was getting hit up in this fight before she got to the clinch and got it to the ground. She's very crude striker. She kind of just barrels in. That's not a good style to have versus Amanda Nunes.
Megan's definitely got a chance.
Well, she's at least got some size to make it somewhat intriguing.
When has Megan ever used her size in any way that is impressive?
Well, she used her size this weekend and knocked someone out with a big, long, straight punch.
I mean, no disrespect to Megan's opponent, Norma Dumont, but Norma Dumont is, I don't have anything to say about her. I mean, she's just someone walking down the road.
Dumont.
Huh?
Her nickname is the Immortal. It really offended me. That's Matt Brown's nickname.
Wow, and they gave it to Norma Dumont. Okay, anyways, So
I would agree with you. Felicia Spencer should get the next title shot, even though she's 1-1 in her last 2.
Oh my gosh, bro! It was against Cyborg. Are you being serious?
I get it.
She did well. Look, according to Joe Rogan, she won all 3 rounds going away. Joe Rogan kept shouting, "She beat Cyborg every round! Oh my gosh, domination!"
Yeah, who cares about all that? I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing with you that she deserves the title shot. What I was going to say is that you want to talk about getting rid of flyweight. Get rid of that division. It's pointless. There's 6 girls.
Wait, I don't think you should get rid of flyweight or women's featherweight because...
neither do I.
This is the first time. Yeah, I'm just saying this is the first time ever that featherweight actually has 2 different women fighting to get the title shot.
One is on a 1-fight streak and the other is on a 2-fight streak. Both of them, neither of them are true contenders. They're only contenders because of the lack of contenders.
Okay, I think that what you're doing is you're taking the total lack of talent that Megan Anderson has, and then you're sort of unfairly putting that into the Spencer as well.
You're unfairly saying Megan Anderson doesn't have any talent when she was the Invicta champion. Same credentials as Felicia Spencer.
Can we stop pretending that Invicta tells us anything? I'm sorry, guys. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Their champions have done pretty well. I don't see many other girls stopping girls in the fights. Now, I get Norma Dumont's not exactly, a 5 or 6 fight UFC veteran like Megan Anderson is, but she's not horrible, dude. You should try and kill that narrative. She's decent. She has some physical attributes, but is she elite? I don't know about that.
Well, she's definitely not elite, Fight Geek.
All right. Well, she may be elite at women's 145 pounds.
That's okay. All right. Well, that's fair. Okay, moving on to Magomed Ankalaev defeating Ian Cutelaba 38 seconds into round number 1. This was an incredibly controversial stoppage. Ian Cutelaba got hit a few times with kicks to the head.
They were kicks aimed at the head. If you watch the replays, which I did many times on this one because I did not understand what happened, none of those kicks to the head landed.
If I wasn't so rudely interrupted, I would have said that, but continue.
Yeah, I'm just going to say none of those landed. I do believe he was playing possum to an extent there, just kind of being, for a lack of a better word, just loosey-goosey in there. And, cost him big time. I think McDonald was the ref, right?
Yeah.
I think he just didn't quite understand what he was seeing. It almost reminded me of, you ever, like when Anderson Silva got knocked out by Chris Weidman the first time, where he was kind of wiggling back and forth and just kind of being loosey-goosey with his body language. I think that's similar to what Cutelaba was doing in this moment. I think that he was thinking he would act staggered, have Magomed rush him, and then counter with something super heavy. That's how I read it after watching a few times. Because even when the fight is stopped, you see Cutelaba is throwing huge counter left off of kind of swaying back and forth. So, horrible stoppage in my opinion.
Was it the worst stoppage of all time, in your opinion, of all MMA?
As far as a quick hook, because I've seen some late hooks that are worse stoppages than that, where a guy takes 12 extra shots.
No, I mean early.
Yeah, you mean a quick hook? Yeah, that was a pretty quick hook for sure.
What is this? Quick hook? I've never heard this term. Am I?
Yeah.
Is that like an old man term, or I don't know? Maybe that's like a
I don't know.
Generation.
I can't explain it to you. Google the term.
You were born in what, like the late 50s? I think that might be like a different.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
I'm 107.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, that was that.
Yeah, we got to run that fight back, right? We saw nothing.
We have to. And by the way, in my opinion, and I've seen a lot of mixed martial arts fights in my life, that was bar none the worst premature stoppage of all time. Bar none.
Yeah, that's up there. I thought of the Barral Uriah Faber stoppage where he had his thumb up. I mean, that was worse.
That wasn't nearly the same. It was bad, though. That was bad,
It was bad, but yeah, this one was horrible because like I said, at first glance, you thought he was getting kicked in the head, but when you watch it in slow motion, he clearly checks both of those kicks with his arms.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, interesting stuff. Do I think the ref should lose his job? No, but consistency in the reffing is a huge problem.
Do you think something should be done? Should there be some kind of punishment for Kevin? Should he come out and have to answer to the press? This keeps happening. I don't want to fall into the weeds too much. I think
I would like if the refs, I'm sure they do have like a written log of why there's reasoning behind stopping a fight or not stopping a fight or different.
Oh, I'm not sure that they have that. I think you're giving them way too much credit.
I think it'd be amazing if, like a police report after an incident, you go back and the ref has to fill out an incident report and explain his thinking, for the Athletic Commission and for the UFC and for the fighters to at least have a peace of mind, because we were all kind of wondering what the hell's going on with that stoppage. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I misunderstood too. So this is your suggestion.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Got it. I you know what? I like that. I like that. I think that you either do that or you make them available to the press and they have to face the MMA media,
See,
after.
I don't like making people who aren't, are not.
Well, it's a punishment for messing up. It's a punishment.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be fun.
But the media doesn't deserve to have the right to punish anyone. The media is irrelevant in that aspect.
I'm talking about the MMA media, just to clarify.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is who it's important to is, the commission, the organization, and the fighters, so they can understand. Yeah, well, the fans, yeah, it's important, but I mean, it's more important to the people directly involved. Cutelaba's got a loss on his record, got half his paycheck. People want this dude's job, so there's a lot on the line. I just think that there should be more accountability. But we've been talking about that for a long time when it comes to
let's
refing
move
and
on.
Judging. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, Grant Dawson defeats Derek Minner via rear naked choke, 1 minute and 38 seconds in round number 2. What did you think of this featherweight performance? I thought Dawson looked great. He's climbed to 15-1.
I definitely think Dawson looked good. Kind of a methodical fighter, a guy who wears on you physically and uses his athleticism and strength to kind of wear you out. Minner is a guy I actually really like. He's a fun fighter. He's very game, lots of experience, but you can just see Dawson has that. It looks like he has elite, his physique. He's very strong, very athletic. 15-1, definitely a player in that division. Can't wait to see what's next for him. He's got to be on the verge of the top 15.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the rankings. I feel like I know every single week, Fight Geek, there's a new featherweight contender who every single week who we want to match up with someone ranked. I feel like 16 through 25 is just filled with really good up and comers. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes, 100%. That's featherweight, correct?
Yeah, featherweight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, featherweight. It's got to be the deepest division in the UFC right now.
Yep, totally agree.
Featherweight, lightweight, those divisions are crazy. But featherweight, like you said, it seems like every weekend there's a guy who comes out, has a great performance, and we're matching him up with Arnold Allen.
Yeah, or Sadiq Youssef. Those are the two go-tos.
Exactly.
Okay. So now moving on to Kyler Phillips. He defeats Gabriel Silva via unanimous decision. This was a bantamweight fight. Great fight. This
was the fight of the night for me, I would say. I don't know what actually won fight of the night, but this fight was crazy. Silva showed so much heart, a huge chin. I mean, the shots he was taking. Kyler Phillips, I was kind of late to the party on him. I did some stats. I don't know if I looked up some stats, but I think it said coming into this fight he was landing 18 strikes per minute or something. A very gifted striker, kind of lengthy. Very impressed by him. So, great fight.
Absolutely. Moving on to Brendan Allen defeating Tom Breeze via TKO ground and pound. 4 minutes and 47 seconds into the first round. This was a middleweight fight, and Brendan Allen, climbed 14-3, and he's for real.
Yep. Yeah, that reminded me of obviously he's a great grappler, very persistent, good gas tank. Very impressive performance. Wasn't really aware of him too much. I think he was off the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. So for him to come through and really dominate a guy like Tom Breeze physically, very impressive.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. Marcin Tybura snaps his, I believe, 3-fight losing streak against Sergey Spivak via unanimous decision. You were right. I was wrong about this fight. Marcin Tybura back in the win column. What do you make the performance?
I thought it was very workmanlike, professional. He had the size, kept him at bay. Just a very professional, must-win type of performance. So, pretty clean.
Yep, absolutely agree. There. Then Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross, defeats Steve Garcia via unanimous decision. I'd like to start off really fast and then just get your take on what you think of this. So I think that Luis Pena is an extremely talented guy. I mean, that's without doubt.
Well, he's enormous for his weight class.
He is, but I think he's got a serious finishing problem. Because if you look at his last 5 fights actually, he's got 1 stoppage win, and then he's got 2 split decision losses, and then 2 decision wins.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think he does have a hard time, finding ways to finish. He seems to like to get on the back and get the body triangle and just kind of bide his time and just chip away. He's not going to finish most guys that way. Off the top of my head, I would imagine he's gotten at least 3 or 4 of those 5 fights. He's had the guys back at one point or another and not been able to finish him. So yeah, I definitely think he's a young fighter who's still developing. I think figuring out how to finish fights is probably something he's really going to have to focus on, because I think he's leaving stuff on the table with those split decisions, like you said. And this fight, I mean, he clearly was the better fighter. He clearly should have finished the fight. But he was just really kind of comfortable just coasting on the back and just winning a grappling match. So
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so, and here's what's interesting to me. Last thing on Violent Bob Ross. He's obviously extremely talented. He's got a big ceiling, but I don't know if just how big that ceiling is, or just how high that ceiling is, rather, because he's fighting at lightweight, and I look at the lightweight rankings, just 15 through 11.
Now, did he fight at lightweight this weekend, or was it featherweight?
I believe he fought at lightweight this weekend.
I thought he fought at featherweight.
According to Tapology, it was a lightweight contest.
Okay.
Yeah, and and anyways, so I mean, look, and as we just discussed, featherweight's extremely stacked too right now. So
yeah.
even if he goes to featherweight, I know he jumps between the two.
Well, I mean,
often.
he just beat a guy on 11 days' notice he couldn't finish in a lightweight, who's probably not top 50 in the world at lightweight. So, I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the top 25 on the UFC roster he's going to be beating anytime soon.
Okay, I'm glad you said it, so I didn't have to. That's what I was getting at.
I mean, do you think you put him in there with Drew Dober, what do you think happens?
Right. Let alone a Gregor Gillespie, a Diego Fajeda. I mean,
yeah, you put him in there with Anthony Pettis or someone like that,
right.
Even who's a little older. I don't like his chances there either.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, he's a big, tall guy, but I just haven't seen the skills.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay, all right. So moving on. Oh man, I loved this fight. This would maybe be fight of the night for me, although it was an interesting fight. Jordan Griffin defeats T.J. Brown via guillotine choke 3 minutes and 38 seconds into round number 2. And my biggest takeaway was that Jordan Griffin was getting the crap beaten out of him until essentially the minute before he got the choke, or a few minutes before. I mean, he was just getting taken to town. TJ was wrestling the crap out of him. Jordan's taking big shots, and he had zero quit. I mean, talk about a gritty performance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is one of those, something you actually like to see from a young fighter, a guy who maybe's not having his best night, is dealing with some adversity, find an opportunity, get an opportunity to finish a fight and actually make it happen. So even though, like you said, he was really kind of getting it handed to him, he found a way and capitalized on an opportunity, and I think that's a skill in itself.
Absolutely. The one piece of advice, and now I kind of feel like I'm that, the couch warrior, telling these people what to do. But if Jordan Griffin wants to go further in the featherweight division, which I hope he does because I really like him, he has got to work on his takedown defense because he was getting taken down at will.
Yeah. And I mean, he'd be in line to fight someone like a Grant Dawson next, who's going to take him down over and over again.
I was just going to say, I like Dawson's chances on that one. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Spike Carlisle.
The Alpha Ginger.
Alpha Ginger.
One of my new favorites.
Hey, we both called it. We both picked him, I believe, to defeat Alan Cruz.
I actually knew who he was.
I've been a Spike Carlisle fan since 1996.
Since day one. You're one of the day ones?
I was in the hospital. I don't even know if he was born in 96, but hopefully he was.
The Alpha Ginger came through with a brutal
ground and pound
victory. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Very exciting guy. Gets into back and forth slugfest. Very fun guy. Can't wait to see what's next for him.
Yep. And then finally, there's a welterweight bout between Sean Brady and Ismail Nardiev, and Sean Brady got the unanimous decision victory. Honestly, I didn't really have a whole lot to take away from this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's 12-0. I thought Nardiev won the first round, and then Brady just was very persistent and won the second and third round. Gritty victory. I think both of the guys are actually pretty solid. So tough fight, good win for Brady. Yep,
absolutely. So are we ready to move on to our UFC 248 preview and picks?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I love it. I'm so pumped. All right, I'm so pumped for this card, bro. All right, UFC 248, Adesanya versus Romero. Let's start off with that main event. Who you got, Fight Geek?
Man, is this fight amazing. It just checks all the boxes, from the strange reasons that it was made to the amazing action that is sure to, present itself. I've been back and forth on this fight. I've been thinking about this fight for probably the last 2 weeks in my prediction. Just
Me too.
Really trying to like dig and watch everything I can and come up with some kind of lean one way or another. And to be honest with you, I have no idea what's going to happen in this fight. I'm going to pick a winner, but I have no clue how this will turn out. With that said, I tend to lean towards Israel Adesanya. You know, I just think that he's a sublime talent. What he did to Robert Whittaker was just unbelievable. What he did against Kelvin Gastelum, he really showed a grit and an ability to dig in when, dig deep in his gas tank, to drop Gastelum.
How do you see it going down, though? So, how's Izzy going to win?
I think that Izzy will win rounds. I think it'll probably be a lot like Whittaker, Romero too, but I think Izzy will win his rounds a little wider than Rob did. But I think there'll be times when Izzy's put to the test and where he takes some shots and could be staggered and have to fight through. But I think that, he could win maybe 4-1 a decision and maybe be rocked in the one round he loses. So something along that. I know that Romero really paces himself and explodes. I think, Izzy shows amazing reflexes on defense for the most part. So I think Romero will have a hard time catching him flush. Not saying he won't, but I think Izzy 49-46.
Got it.
And still.
I love it. Yeah, so this is a fight that I've been extremely excited about, since the card was made. I'm having a giant party for friends this weekend to come over and watch it. Just because I love both title fights. We'll get to the.
I'm smoking ribs. I'm excited too.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the second title fight in a second. But just like you, so difficult, so hard to choose. I was going back and forth, and I just kind of was coming down to the fact that until I see Yoel Romero get stopped. And I mean legitimately stopped. I know that he was technically stopped in his second fight 5 million years ago. Stopped in the UFC. I've never seen it. I've never seen him come close to getting stopped in the UFC. And until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. And I'm a huge Izzy fan.
For the record,
yeah?
Not to interrupt you, Tim Kennedy almost stopped him.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a different subject. But yes. Anyways, I got Yoel Romero by 4th round knockout. Knocking him out cold. I see it knockout cold.
So you see it that one round where I say it might get dicey, you think he shuts the door, huh?
Yeah, and by the way, just to give a little bit more info, I see Izzy dominating much of that fight, most of it before that KO, and I just think he's going to get caught. I think that Romero is a Terminator. I think Romero would have almost certainly won a fight with Costa if it was 5 rounds. Now, I know it wasn't, so who cares? But, when you say Romero's lost 3 of his last 4, okay, sure, but there's an argument.
But he's lost all 3 of them razor close to where you can make a case he won all of them.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth.
So, like the court of public opinion, I can almost, convince myself that Yoel Romero's never lost in the UFC.
Exactly. And I've got
which makes this fight even better.
I've got Anu. I think he's going to make weight. I think he's going to knock out Israel Adesanya cold in the 4th round. But I do hope I'm wrong because I'm a Stylebender fan. We ready to move on?
Yeah, excellent fight. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk in the co-main event for the strawweight championship. This is Zhang's first title defense against Joanna, the former champ, and what a great fight.
Trying to become the first woman to recapture her belt.
Okay, can I go first since you went first on the main?
Yeah. You have to? No, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I think it's a great fight on paper, but this is what I truly think. I think that Zhang is a special talent. I think we're gonna find out a lot about her on Saturday, whether or not I'm right or wrong on this hypothesis. But I think that Zhang has a special amount of power for a strawweight. She's a fantastic striker. And frankly, this is in my opinion, terrible matchup for JJ, who's tough as nails, but Zhang doesn't care. I've got Zhang by 2nd round stoppage.
I couldn't disagree with you more here.
Woo! Hashtag split decision.
All those things you said about Zhang are correct, but saying that it's a terrible matchup for JJ, I mean, there's nothing that points to that. First of all,
Zhang
does
the
well.
power.
Zhang is shorter. Zhang has a 2.5-inch reach disadvantage. Zhang has never been past the third round. She's only been to the third round 3 times in her whole career, 21 fights, I believe. Joanna's the longer fighter who likes to fight at distance. We've never seen Zhang's gas tank. So if it does go to the third round, God only knows what that'll look like. Joanna rarely loses a 4th or 5th round in her career. I think maybe she's lost 1 5th round, and that was to Rose in the second fight. Other than that, Joanna dominates the fights with volumes and cardio late. So I'm seeing that because Zhang is not going to have an opportunity to get her in the clinch and overpower her the way she did with Andrade, who was very short. Joanna's great at getting out of the clinch and keeping on her bicycle and staying away. I think she'll win rounds at distance late in the fight, and Zhang will be taken into deep water. I'm taking a 48-47 split decision for Joanna.
So you think Joanna can survive that power for 25 minutes?
I don't think that Zhang's going to be able to get to her power spots with someone who has a 2.5-inch reach advantage and a little bit taller than her.
You're always talking about reach advantages, and they don't mean as much as I think you think they do.
They don't mean as much all the time, but when it comes to 2 very distinct striking styles, and Joanna uses her length very well to jab and stay at range in the later rounds, I think that'll be the difference. Do I think it'll be a close fight in the first couple rounds? Yes. Do I think that Joanna's getting knocked out? No.
I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. It's going to be a great fight. I'm not saying Zhang can't win. I'm just saying that you saying that this is a horrible matchup for JJ doesn't really make sense to me. She has paths to victory, and she actually has advantages.
Well, yeah. So, let me quickly clarify what I meant there. Okay, let's say that JJ was a jiu-jitsu wizard. That would give her a nice weapon against Weili Zhang.
Weili Zhang has never fought past the third round. If it goes to the 4th round in her first time in her career against someone who used to be a dominant champion who dominates the later rounds in her first title defense, you don't think that could get dicey for her?
Well, you used the key phrase, used to be. Joanna used to be. It's Joanna champion, not Joanna champion. It's Joanna trying to be champion but isn't.
She still has looked good in some other performances since then. I mean,
I'm pissed. Sorry, Joanna fans. I can feel them getting mad.
Styles make fights. That's the reason Joanna lost her belt. Styles make fights is the reason I believe she will get it back versus Weili Zhang this week.
Dang, so we disagree on the main and the co-main. I love it.
Sorry that you're going to be wrong.
I'm sorry for you. I'm embarrassed for you, bro.
You're embarrassed.
All right. Let's keep it moving.
I made a better case in the co-main than you did. Come on.
Okay. Beneil Dariush versus Drakkar Klose.
Another fun, very, very fun matchup. I'm taking Beneil Dariush in this fight just because I think he's a little bit higher end competition. He's a little bit bigger man. But I think Drakkar Klose has the better gas tank, the better wrestler, so it's going to be very interesting. But I'm taking Beneil Dariush by a tough decision.
Yup, I also think it's going to be a tough decision, but I've got it written here in bold red, upset alert. Klose defeats Dariush via split decision.
Ooh. We're going against each other.
We're going against each other like crazy. This is fun, man. I don't think this is...
All right,
let's keep it going. Neil Magny.
Next one.
Neil Magny versus Li Jinglang, the Leech. Who you got?
I've got the Leech here.
So do I.
Neil Magny has had a very long layoff, in my opinion. He was struggling when taken to the ground in his last few fights. As you remember, Rafael Dos Anjos really kind of embarrassed him with a grappling performance. The Leech is a very strong grappler. I think that he'll get his hands on Magny and win a fight via TKO ground and pound, second round.
It's funny. I've got second round TKO for the Leech to win as well. So now we agree to.
All good things come to an end. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Max Griffin. I think this is a real fun fight. I was surprised to see. I'm curious if you knew this. Did you know that Alex Oliveira is on a 3-fight losing streak?
Yes, I did. They're very tough fights, and a couple of them were a little fluky. I think he busted his nose in one really bad. But yeah, I'm taking Alex Cowboy Oliveira in this one. Definitely going to be a fun fight. I think he'll press the action a little bit versus Max, and I think Max will wear down, and I'm taking Cowboy Oliveira via third-round stoppage.
All right, and I am taking Cowboy Oliveira by third-round submission.
Excellent. Okay, let's keep it moving.
All right,
Sean O'Malley
versus
Jose Quinones.
Jose Quinones. Okay, let's go. By the way, really quick, isn't it crazy? 2 years ago, and it's been 2 years since Sean O'Malley fought. Do you remember how big he was getting? It's hard to remember, but Joe Rogan had the Sean O'Malley shirt. Remember that one with all the tie-dye?
Yeah, not only that, but remember, I think his last performance, or maybe the one before that, where he injured his foot and he took the interview on laying on his back, and it was
against
like a whole big
Andre
deal.
Sukumtat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sukumtat. So, yeah, his star was certainly rising. Young, hot prospect. Can't believe it's been 2 years. He's been dealing with all kinds of USADA BS, so super excited to see him back. I am expecting him to look better than ever. He's a young man. He's been improving for the last 2 years. He showed us so much before he went away with the striking and jiu-jitsu. So expecting a big performance here. I'm going to take Sean O'Malley by second round knockout.
Oh, wow. Okay, that would be a very impressive performance. I am also taking Sugar Sean, but I'm taking him via unanimous decision.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come out guns blazing. He's much taller, lankier fighter. I think he'll get to his comfort zone pretty quickly.
All right. Mark O. Madsen versus Austin Hubbard. Wait, I'm going first. You're taking too many first. I don't want anyone thinking I'm copying you and your bad choices. So, I kid. Marco Madsen versus Austin Hubbard, lightweight bout. I think this is a great one. And I've got Madsen defeating Hubbard via unanimous decision.
100% agree. Madsen via dominating unanimous decision. And Madsen might be an interesting guy to throw in versus Luis Pena.
Ooh, if he wins, that's a great idea, actually. Oh, I like that.
So,
Did you just come up with that? You're not that clever.
No, I did, because Madsen's a dominant grappler. Pena seems to want to be a dominant grappler, so let's put two of them together and see who wins.
All right, okay, perfect. So moving on, Rodolfo Vieira versus Safarov. I love that name, Safarov. So who you got here?
This is a pretty easy call for me. I'm taking Rodolfo Vieira via first round submission.
I completely agree. I think this is a mismatch. First round submission.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The black belt hunter, Rodolfo Vieira.
Yep. Moving on, Deron Wynn versus Gerald. Is it Mearshart?
Yeah, Mearshart.
Mearshart. Okay. Who you got? I like this fight.
Oh, man, this is another one. I spent a good 20, 30 minutes looking at this matchup back and forth. I couldn't decide who I wanted to take, but after, further breakdown, I'm going to go with Deron Wynn in a very close decision.
Oh, interesting. We definitely disagree here. I've got Mearshart. I've got another upset alert written there because Deron Wynn's the favorite, but I've got Mearshart beating Wynn via sub in the third round.
That's the only way he's going to find a win, I would say, is via submission. But Deron Wynn is tiny, has no neck. He's a wrestler. I think it's going to be very hard to sub him. Mearshart usually has horrible cardio. By the third round, he can't offer much of anything. That's actually the reason I'm giving the slight edge to Wynn, is that I think he'll probably have a little better cardio late in the fight.
All right. Well, I can't wait. Moving on, Emily Whitmire versus Poliana Viana. Who you got?
Spitfire Whitmire, one of my favorites. Looking forward to seeing her, taking her in this fight.
Yeah, and I was looking at her record. She's 4-3, but I thought that she was on a losing streak, which she's not.
She's been alternating wins and losses.
Exactly.
She's very young. She'll have a good performance and then a lackluster one and then come back strong. So I'm expecting to see her to continue progressing. I've liked what I've seen out of her, so I'm taking her in this one.
Yeah, I'm also taking Whitmire. All I know is that I'm not betting any money on her because every time I do, She loses.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Jamal Emmers versus Giga Chikadze.
No, Giga Chikante.
Oh, forgive me. Sorry. He's a
wrong
really
also.
big. Oh, you probably said it wrong too? No one knows who that is.
I gotta take every chance to correct you, but this is actually another extremely fun fight. I had a hard time picking between these two. I expect a fun striking match, but I'm taking Giga by knockout.
Okay, it's not a Jay-Z album. It's a fighter. So I need you to chill.
His name is Giga.
Jigga. Oh, Jigga. Oh, Jigga. Okay, I'm done ever trying that. But, okay, yeah.
I'm just impressed that you knew Jigga was a Jay-Z reference.
Oh, relax. I'm younger than you, old man. I got Jigga as well. Wow, now I'm really going to think of that, like, every time. All right. Now we've got
one more fight.
Yeah, we've got Dana Batgirl versus Guido Canetti. That, and let me just say, and I probably pronounced that wrong, but I wanted to pronounce it that way. And that
I was like, Dana Batgirl.
Wait, that's the best combination of two names fighting I think I've seen in the UFC. Guido Canetti, so the first name is an Italian slur attacking Italians, which I love. Guido Canetti versus Dana Batgirl. There's no better name.
There's only one choice here, though. Did you do your homework? Who are you taking?
Oh, I think you know. I'm taking Guido.
Ah, you're wrong. It's Dana Batgirl.
You're taking Batgirl?
Absolutely. The numbers say he's going to win.
Is the Batgirl signal going to like come up when during the walkout? Like that'd be cool though.
It's not Batgirl.
I want to make it Batgirl.
I guarantee.
Can we make it Batgirl? I want to make it Batgirl.
I think it's
Batgirl. Right?
Okay. Can we get to listener questions yet or what?
Oh my gosh, this guy is so pleasant. Yeah, you got somewhere to go, Fight Geek? Okay, we're going on to outside the UFC. You were being difficult today. Very sassy. Jeez.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Stuff happens outside the UFC every now and again.
Yeah, I don't know that. So okay, outside the UFC. So guys, breaking news. Deontay Wilder has formally activated the rematch clause, and Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3 is going to be taking place, I believe, in July, just a week after International Fight Week, and I believe that date is set. If it's not set in stone, it may not be set in stone, but it is 100% a targeted date of a week after Fight Week, and I want your thoughts. Is Deontay Wilder making the right decision? Or should he have, taken a step back to sort of, improve his game, reassess,
Yeah, no, I think he had to take it. I think he definitely made the right decision.
Really?
Yeah, I think at this point, obviously, he's not going to take, 2 or 3 fights to learn how to change his style versus Fury. That would take multiple years. He would risk losing. We don't even know what his confidence and what he'll look like coming back. So
Tyson Fury changed his style from the first fight to the second. He looks completely like a different fighter.
Yeah, well, Fury has one of the best fight IQs we've ever seen out of a heavyweight. Is a traditional boxer who knows all the tricks of the trade. Whereas Deontay Wilder is a late bloomer who doesn't have the traditional boxing background and relies on one-punch power. So that's really not a fair,
I'm just saying,
in my opinion.
I'm just saying, you were saying...
Someone like Tyson Fury can go reinvent himself. Someone like Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, is going to take much longer to reinvent because there's so much that needs to be changed if you're trying to reinvent it. With that being said, I think, the trilogy is the fight to make. If you go back and look, the first fight, while I scored it for Fury, Deontay Wilder dropped him twice, badly the one time, and Fury got the long count. So you could, if you squint, you could give that fight to Wilder, and then obviously the clear comeback for Fury, and now Wilder coming back for his opportunity to kind of even the score again. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Anthony Joshua has signed to fight, someone else. That fight's not on the table, so who else would there possibly be?
I mean, look, Anthony Joshua he refuses to fight Wilder, but he won't even say Fury's name. He wasn't. He
No,
won't
that's
even.
not true. He was recently quoted. They wanted that fight.
Oh, Fight Geek. Are we really gonna go into this? AJ wants the fight. AJ wants the fight about as much as he wants something bad.
Well, AJ's taking a mandatory title defense right now,
yeah,
so I would say he definitely does want to fight.
Him and Eddie will have excuses for years. I mean, that's not a problem. They've got excuses aplenty. But if AJ wants to be taken seriously...
Well, AJ has already lost, though, so there's nothing to protect anymore.
All the more reason that this is so disappointing. But whatever. It doesn't matter. AJ's not very good, so... I mean.
So, yes, long story short, I definitely think Wilder made the right move. Well, it may be a little quick, this is the fight. Yeah. No, this is by far the two best heavyweights. Alexander Usyk is coming down the pipeline. I've got my eye on him. But, AJ's just a marketing ploy who got knocked out by Andy Ruiz. So, this is Wilder Fury 3 is the big boy fight. And I can't wait. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, the first two fights have been absolute theater. So they've been amazing.
And just a quick shout out to both Wilder and Fury for putting their reputations on the line to make these fights and have the best fight the best, something that Anthony Joshua, doesn't want to do. And I really respect them for that. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, they're definitely true fighters,
Yeah.
Wilder may be a little different. I know his I don't know. Did you see his video announcing the king is back? And
yeah, it made me feel very sad. He seemed like he was on the verge of breaking into tears.
I was wondering. Well, and then he's saying all these things, and his kids are playing in the background. It was just a bizarre video, in my opinion. But with that being said, he did not fire his trainer. He obviously seems to be delusionally confident again, so that's always a good thing for the fighter to kind of build his ego back up. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so guys, we're going to take a really quick break, and then we are back with listener questions. Hey guys, it's Phil the MMA Dude letting you know that this episode of the Split Decision Podcast is brought to you by TotalAggressionClothing.com. Visit www.TotalAggressionClothing.com and use the promo code 46210 to receive a special Split Podcast discount on all Total Aggression hats, shirts, hoodies, and more. Again, that's www.TotalAggressionClothing.com with promo code 46210. Hey guys, it's Phil the MMA Dude back with the Split Decision Podcast, episode number 58, here with my brilliant co-host, the Fight Geek, and it is now time for my favorite section, Listener Questions, with audio included also now.
Very nice.
I wrote that melody. I know it was a very beautiful melody, so I took a while.
I thought it was a freestyle.
No, I had to write that, dude. Did you hear how good that was? That's not something you can freestyle.
All right, let's kick off these questions. I got one from Instagram to start from N_Web1212.
Nathan Webb, what up, son? Missed you, bro.
I like this question. He says, who has a better chance against Israel, Yoel or Costa? Go.
Great question. To me, there's absolutely no doubt. This is an easy one. Romero, for sure. Romero is a 5-round fighter who's a Terminator. Costa would have lost the Romero fight had that been 5 rounds. 100% the answer is Romero. I think Izzy beats Costa, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
All right. I've got a question from my good friend Martin the Spartan. That's at Marty4Sparty. He says, is Dana White an innovator that made MMA what it is today, or is he just another fight promoter scumbag? Started us off.
Oh, man, that's a really tough one because I think there's layers to this. Do I think Dana White is some visionary / innovator? No, I do not. Do I think he's a hustler? Yes, I do. Do I think, he's opportunistic? Yes, I do. Do I think he's turned into a solid businessman? Yes. But, I think it's more, I don't know. It's a weird case with Dana, but, I don't think he's some innovator. I don't think he's
Wait, you don't think that he was an innovator in any way? Come on, man. He took the UFC to a completely different level.
What, he engineered the Reebok deal? I mean, what has he done that's so innovative? All of his biggest stars have been developed by other organizations outside of John Jones. Every single one. DC, Ronda, Connor, all came from other.
That just makes him a savvy businessman.
Well, that's what I gave him. He's not an innovator. He hasn't changed any rules. The UFC hasn't come up with any equipment, a scoring system. They haven't, optimized fighter pay. They've literally done nothing as far as being innovative.
All right. I mean, agree to disagree here, Fight Geek. I think that Dana White.
Where's the innovation?
Well, where's the innovation? Dana White took a sport that was viewed as a circus and has made it, it's now on ESPN, next to football.
Dana White didn't do anything. The Fertitta brothers and all their money came in and started funding it.
No, Dana White's a huge salesman. He sold the fights, at least until a few years ago.
He is a salesman and he's a hustler, but he's certainly not innovative. He's not a great mind. I mean, you can't give me something. What has he done that's innovative or changed the game?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, if it weren't for him, let's take him out of the equation. You can talk about the Fertittas all day long, bro, but they didn't say anything. They never spoke. They never sold fights.
That's fine. I'm saying that a lot of guys put in that position, I believe, could have done, nurtured the UFC to the point it's at today.
Could anyone have done better, though? No.
I mean, off the top of my head, how would you know without, seeing people operate within that position? Did Dana do a great job? Obviously, Dana did a great job. I just take.
So then why you shitting all over him?
Because he is definitely not an innovator in any way. What he is kind of stale when it comes to innovation. They haven't changed anything, and the few things they have changed, I don't particularly like. The uniform policy, for instance.
Well, no one likes that. That's horrendous.
Well, that's the innovation he's given us.
No, that was a financial deal he made.
Well, for instance, I can't think of anything he's changed.
Okay, no, I'll tell you something. Actually, I just thought of a really big thing that he changed that I love. He was the one, and I still remember, by the way, when they made this rule and how excited I was. I was like, oh, man. He was the one to change fight night main events to 5 rounds. Every main event's going to be 5 rounds.
That's done in a boardroom with marketing people.
Come on.
No, that has nothing to do with innovating.
What do you mean? It's changing the. You said does he change the rules? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh.
It's very innovative.
All right. Okay.
I just gave you plenty of things he could have done to be innovative,
And I just gave you an innovative thing he did. All right, we're going in circles.
I don't believe that's innovative.
All right. Okay, do you got a question? I'm sick of this topic.
All right, good question, though.
Yeah, great question.
I got one queued up right here from Jalen Ware.
Jalen Ware, what up? And let me just quickly say, Fight Geek, you got to admit, Jalen Ware, he brings it every week. He is easily one of the most consistent listeners of the show. He always asks creative questions. None of these, he's just great. Jalen, thank you. We appreciate you. The show's better because of you. Guys, follow him. That's at strive2be_great, GR, and then the number 8. Okay, go ahead.
Quite an endorsement. I agree, Jalen. Thanks for the question. Here we go. Because of Kutalaba-Ankalaev fight, should UFC and Athletic Commission create a rule where you can go to replay? Ref is replaced and fight continues on the spot. One of the worst stoppages I have seen. #AskSplitPod. Very interesting question with a good solution. I like that. I don't know how I feel about swapping a ref out mid-fight. I think that.
Yeah, first of all,
very.
Logistically, okay. First and foremost,
logistically,
it makes no logistically. I just don't see how it could work because how much time if they go so fast, how much time will pass between the fight being halted, and then the new ref saying, "Okay, fight." What, 10 minutes at least? Maybe way more, but 10 at the least. It would be my thinking.
You'd have to have a backup ref sitting at the scorer's table ready to go if there was any issue. But, again, that just doesn't make sense to me because when the fight is stopped, the fight's over. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. There's no restarting it. Even though during the Kutalaba fight, when they were broke and he was kind of going crazy, I was thinking to myself, are they going to restart it? Are they going to go again? I knew deep down that once it stopped, it stopped. They weren't going to go again. So that's why, that fight needs to happen again. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a super tough question. Definitely one of the worst stoppages.
Like I said, I mean, we've talked about this already. I say it's bar none the worst stoppage in mixed martial arts history. And guys, if you're listening to this, guys and girls, I know that we have many female listeners we appreciate. I just say guys and I've stopped doing that. But guys and girls, send us via DM or via Twitter if you think that I'm wrong and Fight Geek is wrong, that this was the worst stoppage in MMA history. And if you show us something even close, we're sending something to you. We're sending a little split podcast merch.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, I got one. I got
one from Glitch.
Okay. All right. Go ahead then.
He says, #AskSplitPod. Should they rematch Joey B versus Figueiredo or just scrap the 125-pound division for good? Thanks for the question. I think we answered it earlier. I say rematch that fight. If Cejudo's off the table for Figueiredo, definitely don't scrap the flyweights.
Yep. Agreed. Don't scrap the flyweights, but again, I do want to say that my first choice is Figueiredo versus Cejudo, not Figueiredo Benavidez 2. I don't see how Benavidez wins that fight in a rematch, and I'm just more interested in seeing Cejudo versus Davison. But yeah, I agree. I think keep the division, keep it around. It's been very exciting since DJ left, and I like DJ, but his domination was making it very, very boring.
Agreed.
Okay, I've got a question from @JacobPowers2. He says, hey, by the way, what up, Jacob? And he says, what's your guys' favorite era of the UFC? Mine was probably 2008 to 2013 before USADA and when everyone was wearing Affliction, Tap Out, Throwdown, etc. And when GSP and Anderson Silva should have fought. #AskSplitPod. This is a really, really interesting, cool question, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. I really like it.
Yeah, why don't you start us off?
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how we generally define eras, but I'm going to go with a 9-year stretch from 2002 to 2011 is kind of the golden era, in my opinion. I started watching around 2002 really heavily and never missed one. Back then, you had the Titos, the Ken Shamrocks, the Randy Couture's, the Chuck Liddells, larger-than-life personalities. There wasn't fights on every weekend, so when there was a pay-per-view, it was big. You got together with people, and it was a happening. It was a lot smaller than it is today. Felt very niche, like we were in on something not everybody else was. So yeah, I would say 2002 to 2011 for me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is a very tough question for me. And I've been struggling with it. I really have. I've been thinking about it and struggling with it. But what I'm going to go ahead and say is the 2007 to 2009. Oh, excuse me, 2007 to 2010. 7 to 2010. Why? Because that is when I got obsessed with mixed martial arts because of World Extreme Cage Fighting and Uriah Faber.
Nice, very cool.
So that'd be my first choice. And if I'm being honest, I'd like to just quickly say a second choice. I view this new era right now as the post-money fight era. I realize that money fights are still big. McGregor is still a factor. But for the most part, I think in the last year, there's been a little bit of a return to form in regards to the best fighting the best, unifying belts. I think that tonight's picks for the UFC 248 main and co-main, the fact that we can't even agree on one of those two fights, and these are title fights, really shows you the depth of the UFC today. And so while it does sound a little casual, the UFC has never been deeper than it is today, in my opinion. So I think right now is a pretty great time to be a fan.
I absolutely agree that it's never been deeper talent-wise, but I don't know if it's as engaging as it used to be.
Okay, I agree to disagree there, but fair enough.
All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, so I've got a question from Combat Sports with Rhino. What's up, Rhino? Great podcast. And he says, what's up, Phil and Fight Geek? If Zhang takes out JJ Saturday, which I think she will, do you guys see an Anderson or DJ type of reign for her from that point on? I look at the roster at 115 and there's plenty of talent, but not like her. Hashtag AskSplitPod. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's a great talent, has the potential to defend the belt, but, Ronda Rousey, I believe, has the title defense record at 5. So we've never seen a woman go further than that with her title defenses.
Nunez is one away, but now bantamweight.
Yeah, but Joanna was at 5'2", and you saw her kind of sputter out. So I don't see her having a Anderson/DJ, maybe even Valentina type run where they get double digits or close to. I would say probably 3 to 5 title defenses max if she were to get past Joanna. So should be on that Rousey/Joanna type title reign, in my opinion.
Yeah, and by the way, I haven't looked it up while you were speaking, but I think, and not to be a stickler, I think Ronda Rousey had 6 defenses, and that's the record, and then Joanna got to 5. Does that sound?
That does sound right.
Okay. But yeah, in any case, Nunez is nipping at the heels, and I think that Zhang is good enough to definitely have some title defenses. But to answer your question, Rhino, no, I don't think she's going to go on an Anderson or DJ type of reign. If you're looking for a female who's going to do that, it's Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah. I think the problem with Zhang's division is there's, like I was saying earlier, styles make fights, and there's a lot of different styles in that.
Tatiana
division.
Suarez would be.
Yeah, I mean, if Rose Namajunas is at her best, I think she beats Zhang.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but Rose at her best is like 1 out of every 3 or 4 fights, but when she's at her best, she's unbelievable. So, styles make fights. It's hard to run off 5, 6 plus, title defenses. It's incredibly tough.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is a question from Vic the Dick. That's at Victorious1612. Victorious! What's up, man? Big friend of the program. Missed him for a little while, but glad he's back. He says, Shang Wai Li has a chance to beat the most dangerous opponent in the strawweight division, but if she beats Joanna, what fight should they make next? And if she loses, should she get an immediate rematch because of her insane 20-fight win streak? Hashtag AskSplitPod.
2 questions here. First of all, I think I'll just piggyback off what I just said. If Rose beats Andrade in that rematch, I think Rose versus Wei Li, if she wins, is a no-brainer. I think that's a great title fight.
Yep.
That's a headliner, in my opinion.
And Rose was offered it, by the way, and turned it down. Did you know that?
Yeah, Rose, mentally, she's a little here and there. You never know what she's thinking. I think it's big that she took the Andrade fight.
Yeah.
Because that one may have a little, give her problems because of what happened in the first fight, even though she was winning that fight. So I think that's big for her confidence to go in there, get that fight back. And then if she gets that fight back, her confidence will be all-time high and ready to fight someone like Wei Li.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, I think that Rose is arguably as tough of a matchup for her as Joanna on any given night.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so hard to quantify Rose because you just never know what Rose is showing up.
And if Tatiana Suarez comes back healthy, who's to say that she can't get Wei Li on the ground and just grind her out for 5 rounds?
And I don't know what to make about, we can go down a rabbit hole. I don't know what to make about Suarez because she was, she was fighting, Nunez's wife. I'm sorry, what's her name?
Nina Ansaroff.
She was fighting Nina Ansaroff at UFC 238, which I was at, and Tatiana dominated for 2 rounds and then started getting the shit beaten out of her.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Nina Ansaroff, does spar and train with Amanda Nunes every day. So, that's not like, she doesn't train with the best. She trains at ATT.
Do they spar? Do they spar every day?
I'm not sure if they spar every day, but if you don't think they train together full bore, you're crazy.
I can't imagine dating someone that you spar all the time. It just seems really.
I mean, imagine training with Amanda Nunes and then going to fight the girls in your weight class. I'm sure you feel very comfortable, and I think that's a strength of Nina's. So yeah. I don't take as much out of that, but it is definitely, something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so this question is from one of my favorite guys. The podcast wouldn't be the same without him. He always brings the heat. I don't think he's missed a an episode to ask questions in a long time, if ever. Ali Raw, that's at Leg Sweep MMA. Guys, if you're not following him, do it now. He asked a great question, Fight Geek, and I'm going to present it to you. He says, "What is more impressive to you guys? A 3-time defending champion or a 2-weight champion with no title defenses?" Go.
Well, I guess that really depends. Each situation's a little different based on the weight classes and the opponent's beat. So it's hard to say, but at this point, the champ status has been watered down so much at this point that I think just someone who's defended their title 3 times against 3 true number 1 contenders technically shows that you're elite more so than just being a champ with no title defenses, is my opinion.
Yeah, so, and I knew you would give sort of the hipster MMA diehard popular answer, which is
So you
cool.
call me the old guy. If I'm the old guy, how can I be the hipster?
What do you mean? Hipsters are old. No?
Oh, hipsters are young.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know much about the hipsters. I'm not one. But anyway, I'm going to take the unpopular answer here, and I'm going to say the 2-weight champion. Guys, don't get mad at me, okay? I know everyone's getting annoyed. They're thinking, oh, great, yeah, so we can have another Henry Cejudo situation. No, I'm not saying, I am not denying that the champ thing has gotten completely out of control. Oh, trust me, it has. Having said that, being UFC champion at 2 different weight divisions is really an accomplishment because it does show your versatility and how versatile you are, how good you are with different strengths and weight classes.
Quick question on the spot.
Yeah.
List the greatest champs in order.
Daniel Cormier is the only one to win and defend both belts inside of a calendar year. So Daniel Cormier by far. It's not even close. Then I have to start thinking Amanda Nunes right behind him, and then it gets weirder. Then who is it? Then it's like McGregor and Cejudo? Who am I forgetting? Yep. Oh, GSP.
No, GSP wasn't simultaneous. Or no, he was.
Well, we're not talking about simultaneous.
Yeah. You're right. So,
well, okay. Yeah. Wait. Are we talking about simultaneous? Maybe we are. McGregor was, Cormier was.
I don't understand how you give it to DC, though. It's the top because he never even beat Jones, who was the champion of that division. He beat Volkan.
I mean, wait. Hold on. Let's keep it fair. You mean he never beat Jones with performance-enhancing drugs in his system? Because, and by the way, before...
He never beat Jones any which way.
Well, before Jones fans get mad at me, guys, just look at the last year. Jones has been a shell of himself, barely winning pathetic split decisions against
Listen to your narratives.
I'm just saying. I mean, he used to get. Do you remember when he used to actually stop fights? I don't remember that. It's too long ago.
Do you remember when he 50-44'd your favorite fighter, Anthony Smith?
Dude, I will come across that screen and I will fight you.
No, you won't.
Wow.
Okay, so I remember when he did that, so that wasn't barely squeaking by pathetically at anything. That
actually, Lionheart could have won that fight. He probably should have. So. Yeah.
Then John would have got the immediate rematch and beat him 50-40.
I don't care. He'd have 2 losses on his record, and I'd laugh for years. So.
Anyways, okay. Sorry, I don't know how we got on the John topic.
Yeah, I don't. You always bring him up. You bring him up. Sorry, Jones fans listening. See what Fight Geek does.
I just like to bring you down.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what a friend I have.
It's getting late. Let's keep it moving.
Okay. All right, buddy. I need you to take a chill pill. We're having a lot of fun. And okay, next question here.
Having a lot of fun.
Eduardo at Landa Crew. Eduardo, what's up? Another fantastic follow. Love Landa Crew. Love Eduardo. He's the man, guys. He's at Landa Crew, and he asks, is it in the UFC's best interest to keep the male flyweight and female featherweight divisions, considering the renewed attention of both divisions last Saturday? #AskSplitPod. And again, I think we did sort of answer this, but take it away.
Yes, 1,000 times. Keep the divisions.
Yeah, totally agree. Moving on. This is from Tabs. Oh, I love Tabs. Tabs the man. He's a diehard Jones fan. Oh, he's a diehard Jones, a McGregor fan, more diehard McGregor, like real diehard, but he's a good sport about it. He takes we go back and forth, and he's a good sport. And there's nothing I love more than people who are good sports about my obnoxiousness. And he is. So, guys, follow Tabs. That's at Tabs1172. And he says, Phil, from the recent survey you posted about which main event would be preferred for International Fight Week, McGregor versus Gaethje at 155 took 39% of the votes. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is a number one contender fight for 155? Also, if the fight happens at 170, does anything change? So I think that's a really interesting question. And I think what that question really is saying, does anything change? Does anything change if the fight's at 170? Because the first part of that question says, if it's at 155,
what do you mean, does anything change? Does anything change as far as the title shot go, or does anything change stylistically?
No. In terms of being the number one contender for the Khabib-Tony winner, I think nothing changes.
No, of course nothing changes, because Conor is the number one contender no matter what. That's already been established. He can fight at whatever weight class he wants. He is getting Khabib if he wins next. I think that's clearly been established, right?
Yeah, I think it's, Dana,
look, I don't know how long ago it was, but I think Dana recently was saying he thinks Conor's the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Well, of course he does. Money talks.
I know, but how ridiculous is that statement?
It's so ridiculous. I don't want to talk about it. It's just
wild.
Yeah, but okay. Now let's take the question, because the truth is I don't know exactly what Tabs meant. So now let's reinterpret that as, does anything change in the weight classes? Because that one I've got some serious thoughts on. I think everything changes.
Yes, I think it actually benefits Conor to be at 170.
No doubt. No doubt.
I think Justin Gaethje has never fought at 170 to my knowledge.
Nope.
Justin Gaethje's not an incredibly quick or fast lightweight as it is, which means he would be even a little more slow and lumbering, in my opinion, which is more hittable versus Conor. I don't think it would be good for him to have that extra weight on him. Justin, actually, I've seen him open workouts with Justin. He has a really small waist. He's actually not that big at all.
No, not at all.
170, I feel like he would be outsized quite a bit.
And I feel like Conor knows that. And
yeah, well, obviously.
But it's just, isn't it weird? I don't know. It's
UFC and Conor. Now it's always hard to say are looking for not easy fights, but
no, but they are. And I never thought I'd see McGregor look for these. I never thought I'd see McGregor trying to bully lightweights to come up and fight him at a different weight class. That never crossed my mind ever.
Hey man, it's just a lightweight fight where they're not cutting weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody bought that.
No, tons of people say that. Are you somebody? What do you mean?
No, I know.
I see people writing that all the time.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, all right.
I mean, the truth is, if that's honestly how you feel, then just get rid of every weight class, because then none of this means anything. I mean, so. I mean, that's crazy.
Bizarre to say the least. So, no, I think Conor's the next guy, whether it's at 170 or 155. If they can nurse him to another victory, they can just get him one more victory, then they can do whatever they want with him.
All right, now, before we irritate every McGregor fan beyond belief, I would like to say, in McGregor's defense, this fight has not been made yet, so it is very premature to bash him for
First of all, no, nobody's bashing him. If Conor McGregor signs his name opposite of Justin Gaethje, nobody should bash him. That's a
if it's a 170,
fight.
That's a bitch move. Hardcore. Bitch move. Bitch made. Bitch. Bitch move. Such a bitch move if it's at 170. But
now our show's not suitable for children.
I don't think that McGregor is going to do that. I really don't. Because the truth is, I think McGregor is a very brave guy, and I think he's a champion at heart. And I think he's going to do the right thing, and I think he's going to make it a 155.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So moving on.
Now that the kids can't listen.
Oh, yeah. They could listen before. There were never any swears. But Smokey J, MMA, what's good, Smokey J? He says, how do we propose to Dana that the only way to wash Cejudo of all his cringy antics is to actually let him defend both belts, get that flyweight one back in one night? Flyweight and bantamweight, one after the other. That shit would be impressive. I think that's hilarious because you could do it at UFC 250 with Davison Figueiredo and Jose Aldo, the two Brazilians.
Yeah, no doubt, but
make him do it. Make him do it.
I don't know. I'm just not. Cejudo was really riding a high, and then he took this extended break. I'm just not sure what we'll see out of him. He's been kind of strange lately. I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Aldo beats him.
I would be mildly surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked beyond belief.
I would be shocked if Cejudo comes out and stops Jose Aldo, though, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so are we ready to move on to the brand new voice questions?
I believe so.
All right, this one comes from Juice from Fighting With Myself podcast, and Juice's question is here.
What's up, Phil? What's up, Fight Geek? It's your boy Juice from the Fighting With Myself podcast, and I want to talk about Ryan Hall. My boy has been ducked for a long time. We just got a fight with Ricardo Lamas. Now, I was happy about this, but I know Phil, you said he wanted a ranked opponent, and I 100% agree with you. Shame on those fucking ranked featherweights not taking this fight. So I want to hear you guys talk about if there should be a penalty for ranked fighters turning down fights. Okay?
All right, Juice, thank you so much.
Thanks for the question, Juice. Good question. Ryan Hall, very excited that he finally got a fight.
Yep.
Do I think he should be fighting ranked guys? Yes, absolutely. Ricardo Lamas, I like the fight.
I don't.
Does it have a lot of title implications, or is it going to help him really move up the charts? No, but it's going to
title
keep
implications.
It's going to keep him active versus a very tricky veteran in Lamas, which I think is a good thing. Do I think people should be penalized? Yeah, I do. I think if they turn down, I don't know how these contracts work. Let's say you turn down 3 fights within a 90-day period, then, maybe some penalty is sent your way or something. I'm not sure how that would even work, but I think it's really unfair that because Ryan Hall is such a stylistic nightmare for some guys that it's basically impossible for him to get a top 15 fight. I just really hate that.
Yeah, and I think that, I think there's really no easy answer to this question, but something clearly needs to be done. That I believe for sure. I think that the ranking system is broken, and what's happened now is that people that are ranked a certain number, let's say number 8, he does not want to fight anyone who is ranked lower than 8. He's only looking up. And frankly, It's hard to blame them with this current system, right? What is in it for you?
Well, the thing is, the problem, for instance, if you're 8,
yeah,
is that you're too far away from a title shot. You're certainly not going to fight 1, 2, or 3 because those guys are all looking up at the title shot, which means you can fight guys who are 7, 6, and 5.
And that's who
so
they
you
want.
basically have 3 guys who you would take, and those guys are usually all jumbled together, a la Paul Felder, Dan Hooker. Neither of those guys are getting a title shot anytime soon. They really have nowhere to go because they're not going to get a Tony Ferguson fight. They're not going to get a Conor McGregor fight. You know what I mean? At best, they're going to get a Dustin Poirier coming off a loss. So, yeah, it's just the way it's set up now is if you're in that top 10 and looking up and you have a stagnant top of the division, nothing moves. And I think we've seen that quite a bit in the last few years, and it just really causes a lot of problems, especially for a guy like Ryan Hall, who what is he ranked, 13th now?
And I don't think he's ranked, is he?
Which is even more crazy because he's been around for quite a while. What is he, 4-0 in the UFC?
Yeah, that's something like that.
He's never got a big name opponent in his prime. I know he beat Gray Maynard and BJ Penn. Both of those guys long after their primes when he beat them.
Oh, Ryan Hall's ranked 13. Sorry, he is ranked 13.
But that's a new revelation. I don't think that he's been ranked for all that long. So
Right.
And he's not going to want to go back and fight a Grant Dawson or someone like that at this point. So he's only going to be looking up. I think the only reason he took a Ricardo Lamas is because he is a former title challenger, a former top 5 guy. So at least in his heart, he can get up for that fight, you know?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so I've now got a question from Ali Raw Mate. I love the email, and here is his question here.
Yo, what up, guys? Fucking good to see you're doing voice questions now. Fucking nice. I was just thinking about rankings and how it makes a lot of fighters seem to turn down fights and, you know, be pretty picky because of their standing in the rankings. So they don't want to fight down, or, you know, they don't want to fight this guy, they don't want to fight that guy. Do you think the UFC fucked up by making the rankings because of this? Now having all these guys, you know, turning down fights and shit. And if the rankings weren't there, do you think these guys would be turning down fights? Because, you know, it'd be all about win streaks. They just got to take any fight they can, really. Just want to hear your thoughts about this. Cheers.
All right, another great question. And how
awesome
timely.
Question.
Isn't that so timely? We were just on the subject. It perfectly.
That was a great drum roll to begin the question.
Oh, such a great, yeah, that's what it was. It was drums, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a drum roll introducing his question.
I think I heard the Little Drummer Boy, the Christmas song. Yeah.
So yes, great question. Yeah, I think they did kind of shoot themselves in the foot with the ranking systems. You know, I grew up a football fan, so you like college football rankings. Top 25 was always something that really resonated with me. But when there's no set schedule, like you said, guys just get too picky with the matchmaking. So I think if you eliminated the rankings, you would see a lot more guys just fighting to stay active, fighting to get a win streak, fighting to get back on the horse after a loss. We've seen in recent years when people have, Megan Anderson, for instance, has a big knockout, and then you have people clamoring to see her for a title shot. It's not necessarily what she's ranked. It's just what the most recent performance kind of warrants.
Well, there are no rankings, so of course it's not what she's ranked. I mean, featherweight has.
I know, but I'm just giving an example of how you could, build yourself into a title challenger without necessarily having a ranking system. It's by knocking people out. It's by being exciting. It's by making noise in your division, So, yeah, I definitely think they shot themselves in the foot with the ranking systems.
It's such a hard subject for me because on the one hand,
How can you support anything, before I let you go, that has Jessica Ai ranked as the 13th best female pound-for-pound fighter?
Well, you want me to talk about the female pound-for-pound rankings?
Well, these are the same people that are making the men's featherweight rankings.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there on the women's featherweight or the women's pound-for-pound rankings. That is a very look, and just
that's low-hanging fruit. Huh?
No, just to clarify, if anyone thinks I'm being sexist, it's just there's not enough women's divisions, guys. It's not anything personal. It's just there's not enough divisions, so you can't make a pound-for-pound list. It's just too awkward.
There's not enough pound-for-pound fighters.
Exactly.
There's only like 6 of them.
Exactly. So it's just they've got to just cut it off. Just get rid of it, guys.
But yes, I think the UFC trying to organize rankings has been a mess, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, it's really hard to deny that, and I hate when fighters refuse to take fights, so that's why I'm so split on it. However, Fight Geek, when I push back on is this. We've been talking about how stacked featherweight is, and how, it feels like, after number 15 in the featherweight division, 16 through 25 are all killers that are coming up. So how the heck do you keep track of any of this if it's just a straight-up free-for-all?
Well, we don't keep track of it now, really. You can't name what 16 through 25 are doing.
Well, not on the spot.
Not on any division. You couldn't tell me what 16 through 25 is doing.
I mean, we can figure it out. We've been talking about, I feel like we were talking about a number 16 in featherweight every other week.
I'm just saying the only thing the rankings are doing are hindering people from taking fights. They're not aiding in anyone taking a fight.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess I do like seeing the numbers next to people's names and seeing people climb up. You know what I mean? It's fun,
But think about, like, for this, when Bisping fought Henderson, I think Henderson was number 13th and got a title shot, and everyone was complaining about it. Take those numbers away, I don't think people complain about it as much because, you know, maybe Henderson had come off a victory, he had the previous win over Bisping. Then you can sell something else other than the fact that he's ranked 13th in the division or whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so we'll take the final question, final audio question, and this is from another good question from our friend Smokey J MMA, and here it is. So,
hey there, Phil, the MMA dude, Fight Kick from the fucking Split Decision podcast. How are you motherfuckers going? It is Smokey J here.
Another drum roll.
Now, my question for you legends is, how do we propose to Dana that the only way to wash Cejudo of all his cringy antics is to actually let him defend both belts, or like at least get the flyweight one back in the one night? It's something that he's talked about himself before as a bit of a joke. He likes to talk a lot of shit. But flyweight and bantamweight one after the other, that would be impressive as fuck. How do we convince Dana to get it done? That's all. Cheers, guys. Bye.
I love it. Okay, so it seems that I read the Twitter question. I think that we were having some technical difficulties, so he asked it twice. But it's a fun question.
It is fun. It's 100% impossible. Would never come to fruition.
Of course, but make him do it. He's been really annoying. He should have to do it. Can we just?
I think he loses both. But what if he gets knocked out? What if he gets knocked out in the first one? How's he? I think
that makes it even funnier.
Oh, so what, he has to fight concussed in the second fight?
So he's all concussed, and they're kind of trying to lead him away. They go, no, you're fighting Jose Aldo. Now you're fighting Jose Aldo.
Is killing him.
Yeah. It'd borderline be a murder. But if he won, he'd become like the GOAT. I'd hate to say it.
There's no way he'd beat Jose Aldo and Davison Figueiredo on the same night.
Hey, never say never. Never say never.
I will say never.
Okay, I'll say never too. All right.
Great question.
Yeah, so guys, I think that's it for this week. The audio questions are now a permanent part of the show. So guys, send us your audio questions. All you got to do is record it on your phone and send it to contact.splitdecision@gmail.com. That's right. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Fikey, take us away, baby.
All right, guys, as usual, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, and more. I'm at the Fight Geek MMA. He's at Phil the MMA Dude. We're at Split_podcast. It's 4 words, the Split Decision Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week. Peace.
Peace.